What you got for me, Zeke?
I mean, you told me no more football, but then I forgot that I didn't get to bring up. How about them Cats in the local bowl game here, man? Oh, whoa!
I hate you.
Go Iowa.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards. With me, as always, is Zeke Baker. And this is I Don't Want to Talk About Kentucky Sports on Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us part of your day. I'll just mention so that Zeke can just get this over with, too. You know, Kentucky basketball also lost last night to the Gamecocks. It's been a rough year up in Lexington, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
You know, I did have somebody ask me recently, like, how is he, by you, not killed your ass yet? I said, man, I only give people shit that I love. I wouldn't mess with somebody random on the street.
This is a good time to tell this story because this story has never been told publicly, and I don't think the parties would really care. Zeke and I were doing a whole bunch of blends down at Blue Note, and the whole ride, Zeke was in a group chat, and I was driving separate, and he was in the car with some people, and he was getting driven down there. He's in the car on his phone the whole time, just going away, making fun of me, and I can read them. But, you know, like I'm being good and I'm not texting and driving. The whole time he's just railing on me, just like insult after insult and just really giving it good. So I get down there later than they do because there was something I had to do up here in Nashville, and then I drove down to Memphis, and I literally just walk in the boardroom. I don't say anything to anyone. Zeke says I crow hopped. I did not crow hop, but I just gave him the biggest dead arm, just wind up dead arm. I didn't even say anything to anyone at the table. And the look of the people in this room when I punched Zeke's arm was just like, holy shit, what just happened? I was like, he deserved it. He knows. And Zeke's like, yeah, I know.
A, yes, you crow hopped. B, my body kind of like shuddered after.
Like the look on their face when they just go, oh shit, what just happened? And then you and I laughed and started doing the blend.
Well, I mean, like that was the best. Is like I was just like, you know, I knew I had that coming. It wasn't. There was like even the aggression or really even like surprise on my face. It was like, yeah, I earned that one, but man, I had a good time earning it. Like if that's what I got to take every now and then to roast him for this long,
I mean,
it's worth the squeeze.
Because it was a good 4-hour roasting where I was not responding, and then. Zeke has this thing. He has this reputation of being damn relentless. Like he just doesn't stop. He gets a topic in his head and then he's just going to run with that as long as he can. And he doesn't feel like he's beating the dead horse. He doesn't feel like anything. It's just this topic has consumed him and he's going to run this one out. And he'll find a new topic. Like if it eventually gets old, he can read the room and realize it's time to do a new topic. But he will just harp on this topic as long as he possibly can. And so he'll know he has it coming. He also knows that, like, you know, we have a relationship. Zeke and I are like brothers. Like, I'm not going to hit him in the face. The face is off limits. But if I give him a dead arm every once in a while, he knows he deserved it. It's not like I'm punching him in the stomach. It's not like I wasn't going for blood. I was just going to make a point.
It wasn't the first or the last time.
Yeah.
It'll happen again. I'm 99.9% sure. But I think that's the best is like everybody looks like he just knocked the shit out of him. And the other one didn't even like flinch or get mad. He just kind of giggled like, shit, earned it.
Oh, no. I mean, you said you were hurting. Like you were like, oh.
Well, it didn't feel good. You crow hop me.
I didn't crow hop you. Anyways, keep it up, Georgia. Enjoy your national championship back to back.
Got to relish in the moment, right?
And what I'm relishing about, everybody knows, I am a sucker for some Parker's Heritage. And we are drinking the 2022 Parker's Heritage limited edition bottle. And that is the Double Barrel Blend Bourbon. The 16th edition of Parker's Heritage will be available nationally and internationally in limited quantities at the suggested retail price of $174.99. The thing I love about Parker's Heritage is a portion of the proceeds will continue to support ALS research and and patient care in honor of Parker Beam, with more than 1 million contributed across the Parker's Heritage Collection since 2013. This edition, and Zeke, get your pen ready because this is when you like to write. It consists of 67% 13-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey that has been double barreled for 4 weeks and then blended post-aging with 33% 15-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. The 13-year-old bourbon from barrels produced in December of 2008 was aged on floors 5 through 7 of Rickhouse Q and then rebarreled into new American white oak barrels with a level 3 char for 4 weeks. Then it was blended with the 15-year-old bourbon from barrels produced in January 2007, aged on the 2N and 5th floors of Rickhouse 2. At bottling, this liquid was uncut and non-chill filtered. The mash bill for this edition is comprised of Heaven Hill's traditional bourbon mash bill, 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley, and is ultimately bottled at 132.2 proof, 66.1 ABV. Anything else you're curious about?
I don't think so. I managed to write it all down. And then also the questions I had pop up as I was writing, you answered. So Stat Guy is doing his job so far in 2023.
This press release, I just want to tell Lauren over at Heaven Hill, this press release was on point. It had all the information Zeke needed. I just want to say thank you for everything you do.
Cheers.
What do you think about this whiskey, Zeke?
I just kind of wrote this down as a more of a flow than a dissecting. It comes in sweet, pick up some nice oak notes. It goes back to sweet, which, I mean, honestly, to me, knowing it was double barrel, but not knowing anything about that, when it goes back to that sweet towards the middle, honestly, I thought this was maybe like a cognac finish or something. It gets really nice. Beyond that, viscosity builds up towards the back. There's a smidge more heat than I necessarily care for, but that's really kind of nitpicking it, to be honest. And if I'm just, being the most, prissy high maintenance thing ever and saying like, well, what would be ideal? Because, whatever. I definitely thought on the finish, it leaves a residue of heat with the savory sweetness from earlier kind of up under it. Again, right at the turn of the tongue, kind of going down, no hug, but just a tad too hot for me. Not too hot, but it's warm. Cash strength whiskey, whatever. I'm being a prima donna and bitching a little too much right now, probably. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll own that one just like I owned the shoulder shot. I was kind of surprised that this was the traditional mash bill. I wondered if this was wheated to a degree because, like I say, that was my thought was either maybe there's some wheat whiskey in here or maybe this double barreling was a cognac or some other kind of like French oak type product just because in the middle, it got pretty darn sweet to me, Edwards.
That's crazy to me because I'm kind of surprised about the cinnamon and pepper and heat I get on this more so than the sweetness. But I mean, you're making me want to take another sip.
Small sip, small.
I did take a small sip. There's just a lot. And I'm trying to figure out that heat. Like there's some cereal on there too, on the taste. I definitely get some cereal notes to it.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, there's some tingle and maybe it's the rye spice. Maybe it's, I don't know. But I mean, for this being double barreled and then blended, I'm just not expecting the heat I get on this one. I do get a little bit of sweetness, but I get a lot of tingle. Some cherry, vanilla, leather, but it's just very dark. It's not oaky, but like I know I describe things in color sometimes, but it's almost like dark to me. It's just a very deep, you could tell it's an aged whiskey. What gets me on this one, I think the nose is so sweet and so rich and so thick and so deep that the taste, when I get the heat that I do on the taste, it really is just a mind, because I'm not expecting it.
Maybe because I didn't know. I just went straight at it. But 132's up there for Heaven Hill whiskey. I mean, 13 to 15 years, and obviously depending on where it sits, but I actually didn't write this part of the write-up down, but I feel like at least half of this ish probably sat pretty low in the Rick House. And if you look at some of the other old, hyper-aged stuff they've put out and or places that have sourced it with, potentially a purple top foil, not many of them at cash strength hit 132. That's a strong number for them.
Yeah.
For the straight bourbon whiskey, at least.
I'm with you. I mean, that's the proof. That's probably the heat I'm getting. It's more the proof more than like what the barrel is doing to the whiskey. It is a very high proof for Heaven Hill, but I'm just surprised I get that heat.
Yeah, I mean, I really only get it right at the back end. Like I say, it's not too much for me or unpleasant. It's one of those things where it kind of makes you pause, like, all right, it almost like puckers you up enough from the oak component to where you like have to kind of work to. I can't tell if like the body's halfway clenching up, or like, woo, here comes the real deal, or it's just from the oak and the reflex of it being naturally drying that your mouth kind of puckers up a little bit and makes it harder to swallow.
I'm with you on that one. I don't know.
I'm surprised though. I dig this pretty good. I mean, granted, I had my fair share of Heaven Hill products the past few years, especially at higher proof. So I'm good with those.
I kind of I think in my mind, I compare this to the rye, and because the rye, like that toasted barrel rye, was just really good. I don't know.
I feel like you're on the fence on this, bud.
I am, and it's really messing with me. I
know. I'm sitting here with like an empathetic look of like, oh, bud.
I mean, how I kind of feel like the guy whose balloon was popped and he's still there holding it by the string, and you just see him there
like I'm just here to taste the whiskey and talk, man. But like I can see the look in your face. You're not good right now, and I liked it more than you, which I was hoping it'd be the opposite of anything. Because
I mean, if anybody, people were like, "Oh man, John always likes it more than Zeke," and it's like, well, because I like whiskey, and I could typically find the bright side of stuff. Right now, I'm not. I don't know. This is really hurting me.
I know. I wish somebody could see your face. It's so awkward. Like it's been that way for 5 minutes now, and I feel bad. Like maybe I shouldn't have said I liked it. Then he'd at least been like, "Oh, thank God, I didn't either."
Oh man, it's like no, and for you, you're normally the more critical one. So for me to be like, and you to be like, "I loved this one. It's so sweet." I'm like, I'm not finding the sweet that you're finding. I'm finding the heat, but I'm not finding the sweet.
Man, I get it. I promise.
So sad.
I mean, literally right in the dead center of my tongue. The tip's sweet. You can pick up the oak, little heat, but the dead center, it's like, honestly, I thought it was like cognac finish or something. It's got that level of like sweet kind of French oak vibe going on. You know what I mean? Like, oof.
Maybe I'm just hung up on the proof. Like maybe I need to put some water in this and see what I think. I don't know.
One of those tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama.
Something just while we were sitting here, I just want to call out my boy Jason, another bourbon guy on Instagram. And if you know him, you love him. He's one of those people. He literally just posted, because I posted last night, I posted, are you going for dogs or horned frogs? And he just wrote, I'm going to go with dogs. Am I too late to give an opinion? That made me smile. That got me out of my funk because I don't know. It's just, I feel like there are some really, really good PHCs out there. And then I feel like the ones that I feel miss, like I'm either all in or I'm out.
I mean, if you ain't decided, actually, I know I want to do this. I'm just trying to build you up and brace you for it a little bit. At least you're already sitting down. First GTS, now PHC. Edwards. I don't know what else you have to look forward to in whiskey. Those are your two ringers.
Well, we know what I've been looking forward to lately, but I just can't tell everyone because I don't want it to all be gone. So I'll tell you when we get off.
But the two big LTO releases that I swear I think you put in your calendar every year, like, oh, that one and that one. Not going for anything else, not chasing anything, but hey, you see one of those, you tell me.
Well, and that and the Four Roses, which we did not get this year. So you could say the trifecta of the releases I look forward to. I mean, we're finding other things. That's the beautiful thing about whiskey. There's other stuff that's out there. There's other fish in the sea. We'll go find those. But if you like what Zeke had to say, go ahead and go buy this. I mean, I'd buy one anyway. If I had the opportunity to get one of these, I'm not saying no. It's just, I think what I'm going to say in defense for Heaven Hill is that I get my hopes up so much every year. And if it's not like just perfect, I'm like a sad kid that like got the wrong Christmas present or got the wrong birthday present.
I don't know, dog. I ain't got no complaints.
Wow. Thank you, Heaven Hill, for sending us this sample. As you can obviously tell, when we get a sample sent to us, we're still going to be honest. So go ahead and find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads. Please leave us an open, honest review, just like we leave open and honest reviews about the whiskey we drink. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
Good old Nashville, Tennessee.
Cheers.
Ciao.